Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
The Guru back again for UFC Vegas 56. Alexander Volkov taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik in a heavyweight main event. Jairzinho getting another look at a main event shot, as is Volkov, actually, which is super duper exciting. And, after a week off, I could not be any more excited for how many fights is it? It's like 14 fights or something, right?
14 fights. We are
Hell
back
yeah.
with a vengeance. Let's
Absolutely.
go.
And right before a big pay-per-view next week too. So before we can get into any of that craziness, we have UFC on ESPN Plus 65, also known as UFC Fight Night 207. Man, I'm so freaking stoked. Dude, real quick, how was your trip to Europe, man?
Oh, man. So, your boy TB took a quick little excursion. We flew over the pond, went over to Amsterdam, spent a few days over there, then a little town outside that, Edam, for another couple days. So, yeah, my time zone's all fucked up. Just got back a couple days ago. Huge delays getting back. International airports are crazy out there right now. So, yeah, just blessed to be back home. Had a great time and ready to get back to work, man. Feeling
Yeah, man, really
refreshed.
happy to have you back stateside. I know I missed you when we were had that really crazy time zone difference. It was difficult to keep in touch, but we certainly did. So we're happy to have you back, and we're very happy to have some UFC back in action this week. And this main event, man, this is an interesting one. These are two guys that have really started to. I don't want to say started to, but these are perennial names now. These are household names at the heavyweight division. So when you see these guys face each other, it's like almost like, wow, I can't believe they haven't faced each other yet. And super interesting to see, exactly what happens in this kind of style of fight, right?
Yeah, I think one of to your point, Jairzinho Rozenstruik is one of those guys where, like, when we started breaking down fights, I mean, he was really like when I first started paying attention to the UFC, he was just getting into it. So it's kind of cool to see how far he's come. He's got 9 total fights now at this point, and like Volkov's only got 12. So I mean, for a guy that's been a little bit of a more of a mainstay in the heavyweight division, I mean, Rozenstruik's starting to catch up there as far as total volume. Um,
He's just been so active. I mean, 2 fights in 2020, 3 in 2021. He was already scheduled to fight Marcin Tybura
right?
earlier this year. February, we had a big play on that, and Tybura got sick. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, sick the day he didn't want that smoke. And so honestly, they reward Jairzinho for being a fucking true professional with this main event slot.
It's true, and you see Volkov coming off of that disappointing first round loss to Tom Aspinall, and now we got
Brutal.
minus 155 for Volkov and Jairzinho coming in at plus 135. I mean, from like a surface level, I understand why the money line sits there. You look at like the overall pace. I mean, yeah, Volkov he's throwing out a lot more than Rozenstruik is. He's landing a lot more than Rozenstruik is. Um, just about double the pace from distance. And yeah, I mean, it definitely both these guys spend about just about the same amount of time at distance overall. So you got to figure that this fight we're looking at mostly a kickboxing match, and who does that favor? I really think that the times we've seen Rozenstruik the most stifled is when guys are wrestling him a bit. When he
Yeah.
gets to play from distance, yeah, he is really low output, low volume. But I mean, over the course of a 5 round fight here, it doesn't take much for him. All it takes is one. And
He
Volkov, he's shown to kind of let his guard down as the cardio starts slipping away over fights. I mean, what do you think you're seeing here?
No, you're 100% right. I mean, if Rozenstruik has proved himself as anything in the UFC, he has, there's levels to the power of UFC heavyweights, right? So Francis Ngannou is probably the top of that chain. And then right there, in my opinion, is Derek Lewis and Jairzinho Rozenstruik in being the biggest power punches of the division. And feel free to let me know if I'm forgetting somebody else.
No,
But
for sure, man.
yeah, like that to me is the top right there. I mean, he's shown that he can put your lights out with one punch. I mean, he ripped Alistair Overeem's lip off of his face. Like that's fucking nuts. So to be able to land that kind of power, that kind of like torque motion with your body, like it's like super cliche, but like you can't teach that. It's innate. Um, so we've seen listen, well, let's just lay our cards out on the table, right? We were on Alexander Volkov over Tom Aspinall very sillily, honestly. It was a kind of a pick 'em fight in that respect. We kind of liked Volkov's size advantage, so to speak, but what does Volkov do? Does he utilize his 80 inch rig? Does he John Jones? Does he keep a stiff jab? And no, it's all leg kicks, leg kicks to keep you from marching forward. But what does that actually do? Like, it's not going to keep Jairzinho away when he knows that he has to fucking land this big strike. And not for I loved what Jairzinho put in his Instagram post. Not that social media means too much, but he's just like, he landed to chop some trees. Like, hell yeah, dude! Kick him back in the fucking legs, close that distance a little bit, and put the pressure on him. Volkov is a type of fighter that literally likes to fight with his back against the cage, circling. Like he's not somebody that is super uh pressure forward. Like, he's not like a zombie walker like that. He's much more patient, taking Rogue Strowman back, going live for that. Yeah. Yes, definitely Rangers over the NBA Finals. I don't know that TB actually feels that way, but I think that
Yeah.
I think with me, with my Rangers having the horse in the race, he kind of deferred that to me. So I appreciate
Yeah,
that for
nah,
TB.
I got to do it for my boy. Listen, I'm gonna be able to catch those highlights. They replay those games on ESPN, so I just won't pay attention to what's going on. I'll start it fresh once we're off the stream here. I got to help my dog out. It's not like these NBA finals, man. I'm excited for that too. But
Bro,
like,
Rangers 6-2, man, over the
yeah,
Tampa Bay Lightning. Like,
hell
let's
yeah. I
go.
was I
Game
was
one.
happy to let my boy get that big victory game one under his belt. But now we're trying to get a big victory here, getting back to this main event and getting back to it. Here we are off of a week off. So you're looking at Volkov versus Rozenstruik. And like we talked about, Rozenstruik is a plus 135. And something that I've seen from Volkov recently is like he really is just seems to be stuck in the mud. And Rozenstruik is
Slow.
gonna be the fucking explosive, um, way more able to close the distance, way more rangy when it comes to his actual movement in the fight. And while Volkov is going to be able to land more volume, I just don't think he does anything that necessarily hurts or scares off Rozenstruik. And at some point here, I mean, listen, I think Rozenstruik has a much more varied approach than a guy like Derek Lewis. So where Lewis is expecting, he needs to land that bomb, like Rozenstruik's kick returns and really kind of countering when guys start throwing kicks at him. Yeah, I mean, I just ultimately think that Rozenstruik's going to find the finish at some point. So I think the way that I'm looking to play this is I don't want to just take that straight money line because I think that there's two better ways to do it. Either
Yeah.
Rozenstruik by knockout, you're seeing it plus 200. So I really think that's his path to victory. If you really want to go crazy and like fade some crazy narratives, I mean, Rozenstruik by decision is plus 750. But I mean, it's just
I just
really
don't.
tough.
It's if it's going. I just don't think that that's truly like a correlated way of winning, because if he's winning a decision, it's like it's how he has multiple knockdowns without a finish.
Yeah.
He's striking more than him. I mean, we can't. I mean, feel. Listen, guys, feel free to bet what you want, but we can't sit here and predict that he's going to outpoint him to a decision when he
No.
strikes significantly less. And Rogue Strum is saying that he's not going to win a decision. He's not.
There goes. There's a little sneak peek. Make sure you're following us on Bet MMA so that because we had a week off here, we got ahead of some line movement.
We
So
did. We played a couple bets a little early. That we assumed that some line movement would be moving, and it certainly moved in our favor in
yeah.
that respect. So we're happy about that.
So this isn't one that we caught early, but right now, I
No.
mean, you see the money line. So I see the finish only on DraftKings is minus 150. But when I was looking earlier on FanDuel, we had a much better line on that. It was a minus 122. So that's one of those ones where like if Volkov wins here, it's going to be by decision. I mean, we haven't seen Rozenstruik get submitted, and I don't think Volkov is going to be the one to pull that off. And I also don't think that Volkov is going to be the one to knock out Rozenstruik. He just doesn't oversell into his power. I think he could outpoint him for 5 rounds for sure.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
just
he
I don't
hasn't.
trust his cardio to do that at this point.
Listen, and when we want to talk finishes, right? So you think that heavyweights have a large amount of finishes, but you look at somebody like Alexander Volkov, and okay, so he has the cross hook combo to Alistair Overeem. That dude was getting knocked out by everybody at that point. He's got a body kick to Walt Harris, who love Walt as a person, but kind of soft and will find a way out of there in the cage. And Fabricio Verdum in 2018. Stefan
Yeah.
Struve in 2017.
Yeah.
What like, and then we're going back to M1. Like
Yeah.
it's not really a lot of finishes for a guy like Jairzinho who just went 15 minutes with blades. Who, you want to talk about a diversity of attack, has a way more diverse level of attack than somebody like Alexander Volkov.
Oh yeah.
And he went the distance with Cyril Gahn, as did Alexander Volkov. That's really more based on Cyril Gahn's a game plan in that fight, but let that game plan say something to you. Like, he was respecting his power because he did not want to fucking touch that at all. So he really didn't give Rozenstruik a chance to get anything off. The bet to me, and it kind of protects you, is on DraftKings. It's money line finish only for Jairzinho Rozenstruik at -150. Do you want, like, yeah, is it a favorite tag? Yeah, it's not my most favorite thing, but I don't, unless it's a Rakic situation, like Rocket situation, like I don't think that Alexander Volkov's getting a finish here. So why not kind of protect myself in that I'll lay, let's say, whatever, 3 units to win 2, and like, if he fucking gets, if he loses, he loses a decision, and I get my money back.
Yeah, I totally get it. And so what do we say? The decision, finish only, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. We got -122.
That was -150 for that.
No, FanDuel is -122.
Since when does FanDuel do that line?
Yeah, they have the finish only, but they don't have
Oh,
the decision only.
yes. So it's a decision no bet prop.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yes, at -122.
So,
yeah, fuck what I said. Get to FanDuel. Shout out FanDuel.
So that's why how I'm gonna play this one. So you take 2.4 units to win 2 on the money line finish only. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. The -122, that's definitely much more palatable. And then you're covered on the Volkov decision, but I want to get a little bit on that +210 knockout also for Rozenstruik. So I'll do a little half unit on that too. So you guys will probably catch that on Bet MMA between the money line finish only and the knockout for Rozenstruik.
Yeah, for sure. You'll see the money line finish only at the very least. At the end of the day, it's like, when that bet hits and we feel good, we'll be like, well, why didn't we hit the little sprinkle for the knockout too?
Nah, for sure. And that's why I feel like I do want to have it in there. But even if we don't, I'm feeling good about taking Rozenstruik in this spot. That's just where I'm at.
A couple of our listeners might be a little, listen, you know what? They shouldn't be perturbed, because again, we've said it time and time again. Check our Bet MMA tips page. We laid this pick out last week, bro. Last week we laid this out. We got Movsar Evlev at -290. We're gonna break down into why, obviously, but we got him at -290. He's now -480. It's insane. The line has just blown away.
Wait, -480.
Yes.
Wow. Still -410 on DraftKings. So if you guys are listening right now and you need to grab like some value, you got -410 still. But still, I mean, regardless, you missed out on it. It was much more palatable last week. We're getting to that point where it's like the value boy type of deal, where it's like, ooh, well, Dan Ige, at this specific number. Like, but at the end of the day, Dan Ige, you look at his takedown defense at 58%. You look at his opponent control rate of 19%. And who the fuck is he even really faced when you come down to like the overall grapplers? I mean, Dan Ige, you're giving that up to Josh Emme, Korean Zombie, Julio Arce. These aren't guys that necessarily are looking to have high control rates, but they were able to see that was like their path to victory on you. Where, I don't think Evliyev is going to really want to stand and bang from distance so much. But even if you look at the numbers, I mean, who's got the pace? Who's landing more from distance? It's Evliyev, and it's because of the threat of the takedown. And guess who's going to be able to do it? Rinse, repeat all day on Dan Ige. The only thing that I really get concerned about in this spot is that Evliyev loves leaving that neck in there on the guillotine attempts. So, Ige's got the black belt. He's a very proficient grappler. Dan Ige by submission is plus 2,200.
Oh, my God.
So if there was one way that I think he wins this fight, it's either he hurts him on the feet or he gets the submission. But at plus 2,200 for a guy, Evliev, that's had like split decisions because of how long he leaves his neck in a guillotine, whether it's against Mike Grundy
Yeah,
or Nick Lentz. It's just, I don't think Ige is one of those guys that really sells out as much on the guillotine. It's
true.
just once Evliev is landing like 10, 11 takedowns on him, at that point, it's like, all right, well, I got to try something. So, yeah, Evliev, where we got him, yeah, exactly. Pretty convinced that Evliev is unchokeable after watching him in the Grundy fight.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's like Charles Rosa almost. It's
Wow.
like
Dude,
one of those guys where you just can't submit him in those types of chokes
yeah.
because he's been there too much.
I mean, to me, that what almost stands out even more, like almost more than the submission prop for Danny Ige is that KO prop at plus 1,100 on DraftKings. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mozharov tough and he's undefeated, but like he's 50K Ige, man. Like you could just clip him. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, Ige has quietly gone 3-6 in his last six, or he's won 3, lost 3 in his last 6 fights, and 2 of those wins being split decisions. You know, it's it's interesting. He's taken a huge step up in competition lately. His losses being to Calvin Kattar, Korean Zombie, and Josh Emmett. Three of the premier guys in the division. But this guy has seemed to show that he's got everything needed to be in the top 15. Yeah, he's a plus. Yeah, he's a different beast. He really is. I just with the 4-ounce gloves, bro. You never know. But he's not gonna
yeah.
chin check. He's not Gavin Tucker. You're not just gonna chin check this guy and put him out. Like he's gonna come ready to bang.
Yeah, I really do think that Evliev, he should, like, you see, once again, it's Korean Zombie. You see him go to the offensive wrestling. Even Josh Emmett has success with the offensive wrestling. Evliev, that's the game plan. I mean, 4 takedowns at 48%. No shit. That's what we're going to be looking at. It's going to be
Yeah.
rinse, repeat. Evliev, unanimous decision, minus 135. I'll probably have a little something on that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably hits at the end of the day, but like these judges are fucking drunk or sniffing glue. Like I don't know, dude. You watched fucking Paul Felder, Rafael dos Anjos be a split decision. Like,
Yeah, I got you. That's where it's probably like we already had the straight play on it. So if you guys were able to catch it early with us, God
yeah,
bless you. Follow us on Bet MMA. It's going to help you guys out because if you put on your notifications, you see immediately when we place the bet. When we throw it down, that has to be when the live is active. So it's not like we threw it down after, the line moves, whatever. It's like, like if you see us put a play on Bet MMA, that line exists right now. So sometimes, it doesn't make it to the show where you
on
have that
time. Yeah,
same line that when we're doing our tape, we know when we need to get out ahead. So you guys got to be following us on Bet MMA. Also on Twitter,
definitely.
we're putting out our plays. So make sure you guys give a little like on the video here. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel if you're liking the content. And we're gonna get right down to this next fight here. We got Michael Trisano versus Lucas Almeida making his UFC debut. One of those Dana White Contender Series losers that that gets the call up here. So you talk about those Dana White
No,
Contender Series fades.
well, kind of. Well, he doesn't get the call off the Dana White Contender Series loss, so it's a little
No,
different.
well, yeah,
I
but
just want to
his no,
specify
that's
because
fair. That's fair.
there's only been one fighter to get the contract
Candelario,
off a
right?
loss. This is Candelario, exactly. So he
Okay.
gets the Dana White Contender Series loss, then he goes
But he
back
gets the wins.
to Jungle Fight. No, so he
Okay.
he wins in Jungle Fight, he loses in Dana White Contender Series, then he comes back to Jungle Fight, gets another quick win, and now he's in the USA.
Right.
Don't fuck it up, yo.
All right. Well, so ultimately, my point is that with Almeida, you're kind of seeing the line already catch that he's not a Dana White Contender Series winner. Because yeah, right now we got the line. It's I mean, shit. There's Mike Trizano, good
I
guy.
got him minus 250
Think he's
here on
solid.
FanDuel.
Yeah,
Plus
minus
190 for
220.
Almeida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plus 220, minus 225 on DraftKings. And Trizano, I do think he's solid all around. But it's just like nothing overall special. But I
Yeah.
do think he's patient enough with his boxing and trying to, go for some counters. I think that Almeida can be a little bit wild coming forward, and he can definitely, kind of leave himself exposed for like a level change and all that stuff. It's just about how much Trezano is going to commit to that type of game plan because you see the .44 takedowns per 15. It's not something that's actively part of his game
No.
on a consistent basis. So you're projecting there. The question is like, do you think he's going to outstrike Almeida? I just don't think he's going to play up to his price point
No,
He
that's
he probably should win. I just I would really, this is one of those ones where I'd almost take the shot on that Dana White Contender Series guy at the plus 185. I feel like okay, Trisano, though, you see him in his last fight against Dawoodu. I mean, this is a huge step down in that regard.
yeah. Yeah, Dawoodu is super tough. That was a really tough out. He like put the work into Mike Trizano there. He really didn't have. I don't even know why they made that fight or who his manager is to let him take that fight.
Mhm.
That was not ideal. Um, this fight's super interesting because I feel like these guys are very similar in like what their kind of overall game plan is. Like, again, maybe I was wrong in the way I assessed Lucas Almeida, but like to me, he kind of seems like a brawler. Like he has this brawler style where he's got the good left hook and he just kind of wants to crash forward because all roads lead to where he wants to be, and that's using his jujitsu as being on the ground. Um, Oh, actually, no, it's actually the other way around. No, I have this written around. No, so what had happened was it's the other way around. He likes to stand. So what I saw was that he had Nicholas. What the fuck is the dude's name? Yeah, he had who the fuck did he have? He had oh yeah, it was on whatever it was. I fucking wrote it down. He had the dude knocked down multiple times and then had the guy stand up and continue striking with him. So he's actually kind of had more surprising power and zombie like pressure, really likes to come forward. What I did see that was very interesting on the tape as well, which you kind of mentioned that's not necessarily going to be in play here. He stands super straight up and he leaves his hips exposed, Lucas Almeida. So he will also overthrow on strikes and put himself out of position, which also can lead you to grappling exchanges. But I'm not sure that Trizano is going to be the guy to do that. I think at the end of the day, Trizano is just the more polished fighter, if you can even say that. He's got the faster hands. He's got the better boxing, good check kicks, leg kicks, decent clinch defense, and again has went up now against the higher competition in Dawoodu. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, like you perfectly said, like I don't necessarily want to play on this low level fight. This is like a card opener or something anywhere else, but now we're somehow on the main card. And yeah, I don't know. Is there any other way to handicap this?
No, I think this is probably one because I feel like Trizano, he's more apt to lose by decision here, if anything, and Almeida, his only loss has come by decision. So it's one of those ones I could see where this fight would go the distance. But I'm not in a rush to be playing anything like that.
No, and when you look at that's the other thing. When you look at his competition, I remember looking at that. His level of competition is very sketchy, man. Lots of zeros and zeros. I mean the yeah, man. There's a couple 2 and 4s in there, 16 and 15. Be very interesting to see what happens. I'm interested to see the damn fight though.
I agree. I think it'll be an entertaining fight. It's just not one that I'm necessarily looking to bet myself in.
No, not
Yeah.
nothing there.
So that'll bring us on to our next fight. We got Karina Silva versus Pauliano Botellio. Yeah, this one, I see that there's kind of a little bit of a trend out there in the general community, and I'm not sure
What trend is that?
where.
I'm not paying attention to these people's. What's the
Yeah,
trend?
no, the trend I'm seeing is that this is like the blind Dana White Contender Series fade. Um, and yeah, I mean, Karina Silva, I really didn't like how her cardio looks.
No.
That's for sure. But I do think Botelho is going to be out physical tier, at least in the early going. I just don't really trust Botelho's overall game. Like to see if you get out wrestled by Jillian Robertson for extended periods,
Right, and we
like
know how
that is
bad it.
that is such a red flag as to like your overall wrestling defense.
Agreed.
And then in the same token, you see her kind of fade down the stretch against Luana Carolina. So if you're like banking on the cardio of Pauliano Botelho to outlast Karina Silva, I don't really feel so comfortable in like the less physical athlete and someone that's shown to not really, have that much juice late into a fight themselves. So,
Hmm.
Botelho, she's 5 years older. She's going to be a bit taller here, but they do have the same reach. But you see that Nova Uniao, like Botelho, like Nova Uniao, they're they are known for having fighters who gas out. That's just what happens. And
Yeah.
Silva, I do think she's explosive. She has a couple ways to win this fight, and she loves getting finishes. You know, Botellio, she has lost by one submission in her career, so there is that path to victory. But
I think it's the other way. I think it'd be Silva who's got the 2 submission losses, and maybe that would be Pollyanna's one way to win would be as she
so
starts to gas out and she kind of gets a sub. But it was interesting. I looked back at her Tapology here, and who do I see as her first loss by finish? It's to Marina Moroz in 2014, who's
yeah.
who's a decent enough submission artist. So yeah, I it's certainly super interesting. Silva's somebody that, is very aggressive. She opens up her Dana White Contender Series fight with a right high kick and right jab combination, but she gasses super duper quickly in that fight. And it really wasn't until she kind of gets her way back into it with because she was fighting the butchest Asian chick ever, who's like just kind of like literally Ariane Carnelosi type, but just Asian. She was just crashing forward and completely gassed out, and puts herself in a guillotine, goes straight down
Yeah.
in that second round. Yeah, she had the Asian chick had a great first round, and then Silva wins the second one
So
with the
my
finish.
question here is, do you see? I feel like the majority of these losses from when you add the both of them together, I'm kind of interested in the fight doesn't go the distance at
Yeah,
plus 110.
yeah.
I think
I think
either one could gas out, the other one's finding a finish. Whether Silva's able to impose her physicality earlier, or Botellio is able to land some of that strength. Because even in round 3, you see Botellio kind of popping the head back at Carolina when she's able to get her stuff going. It's just the trusting a side on the money line here.
yeah.
Not
I mean,
really looking to
to
do it, but inside the
right.
distance, fight doesn't go plus
Yeah,
110. That's
I mean,
wrong with me.
to me, I basically line the fight a pick 'em, maybe
Mm,
lean Pollyanna as a slight favorite, and they have her as a slight dog. So I guess if I had to pick a side, I would pick Pollyanna, but there's no real confidence in that.
yeah, I don't think that like you're getting enough value
No, no,
where
not
the
at all.
line currently is to really feel like, oh man, this is like I need to hit this,
And
and
the fight is
I'm going to be
sketchy.
missing on.
And the
Yeah,
fight is sketchy. And you know what? If you're with TB and if you think that one of these girls is going to submit the other one, fuck the fight doesn't go the distance. Just play the under 2.5 at plus 140 then,
yeah,
because they're not going to
yeah.
get the finish in the last 2
You're right.
minutes.
You're right. You're right. And Mac, thanks for joining us, man. He's got Botellio by decision here. I can feel that. I
She's got
totally see it.
the one thing that we really didn't highlight, and obviously because it's been littered with losses, is that she's has the experience advantage here.
Yeah.
And that versus somebody making their first walk to the octagon, for somebody that's been there, done that, and maybe has a different mindset, a different game plan in terms of what their career goals are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly interesting,
Yeah,
but not
definitely.
necessarily a fight I want a lot of exposure on, if any.
I would agree with that. And so yeah, that brings us right along here to our next fight. We've got Ode Osborne versus Zaru Khadachev. Right now, the line has kind of exploded here. We're looking at right now. Well, did they even have this listed for me here on DraftKings? That's weird. I don't know
Maybe
why I
they
don't
pulled
see it.
it. Yeah, I was. Oh, here
Oh
it is.
no, here
It's
we go.
lower
Yeah, they
down. It's
moved
lower
it
down.
around.
It's
Yeah,
lower down.
yeah. I don't know why it's out of order, but anyways, Ode Osborne right now minus 190. Adashev at plus 160. A little earlier in the week, we hopped on the Osborne train. I mean, you see the clear physical advantages for one. Osborne, he made his debut at the 135, but now moving down to 125 on a consistent basis, and he looks good making the weight.
Yeah.
He's got a 2-inch height advantage. He's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage on Adashev. And we've already seen that once before for Adashev facing Su Madoji, and it didn't look great from a volume perspective. I mean, you see some of those numbers on the Adashev side, and like his opponents are really, putting a pace on him here.
Yeah.
He,
Oh my God. Yeah.
and so Osborne, it's not that he's like the biggest volume striker overall, but you see his numbers are solid. He's outpacing Adashev, but overall, then if he needs to go to that takedown game, I mean, Adashev, I really don't trust him to be able to stuff that on a consistent basis, especially the physical advantages that Osborne has, getting that double leg secured, wrapping around the bottom. Vergara was able to stuff a lot of those attempts with his physicality. I think Adashev just doesn't have the same type of experience working in the grappling and the wrestling perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to dig into this too much because, like I said, we're fairly heavily on O'Day here, and I think that the reasons are obvious. But I'll just say, like, I think Zaru Khadachev is probably one of the like poster boys of people that like really maybe should not be in the UFC, like really at all. I mean, you look how he got. I don't even know how he got here. He lost his debuting fight to a 1-1 guy. He beats an 0-1 guy. He beats an 0-2 guy. And get this, his big win. He beats a 3-1 guy and gets the call up to the UFC. Gets knocked out in 30 seconds by Tyson Nam. Tyson Nam's crying, going crazy because he finally gets his first finish. And then Sumadarji, who I think, if my memory serves me right, kind of gassed out towards maybe that third round. But still, like, put the fucking work on him. And then he gets a decision win over Ryan Benoit, who I don't even know if we've seen since. Something tells me no, and it's no, and I don't know if he has a fight booked. I doubt it. So, like, what the fuck does that win mean? Like, nothing. Benoit is 10-8. He's just like, he's another one, like, probably not really, cut for the cloth. And then you look at somebody like Ode Osborne, who's probably the tallest guy in the entire fucking division, the biggest guy in the division. Like, what is Zaru gonna do here? You gotta clip him. You gotta get lucky. You gotta Manel Cop him or something. Like, you gotta, or choke him out, right? The submissions seem to be a thing. He's lost by armbar and triangle choke twice. So, oh no, that's the wins. I'm colorblind. Not really though. He's lost by guillotine choke to Brian Kelleher and knee bar. So yeah, he's been submitted. So that's maybe the way. But again, there's no way to predict how this guy fucking wins. He's got 2 knockouts and 2 decisions.
I'm sorry, you're telling me that Khadachev has a path by submission, the kickboxing champion? All right. Yeah, I think that means we need to get on to the next fight, Guru. No, we're grasping at straws.
No, exactly. I just meant that O'Day's weakness is the submission, not that Khadachev, the kickboxing champion, would have a path through his non-existent grappling.
That's what I'm saying. So we're grasping at straws. There is no legitimate path that we saw, and that's why we laid 5 units on Ode Osborne at -155. So guess what, guys? Now you got him at -190. Make sure you're following us on Bet MMA because we laid that last week. We knew that was something we needed to get out ahead of because it just didn't make sense where the line was at, and it seems like the market's been correcting itself.
Yeah.
Our next fight here, we got the fraudulent Askar Mozharov versus Alonzo Menifield.
Dude, Mozharov has set MMA Twitter on fire with not 1, but I believe 2 very stark, legitimate record corrections that happened this week on Tapology. Do we have that? He opened up what? Do we have the numbers?
Yeah, so originally, I mean, I could tell you when I first were doing their profiles, it was 25-6 is what it was supposed to be. All of a sudden, it's 21-11, and now it's 19-12. Yeah. So I didn't even get to update this from the 21-11 before we hopped on tonight. I mean, overall, it's just like, wow, super sketchy as fuck. Also, the other thing, I don't even know if this guy makes it to fight night because every time he's a late replacement, whether it's the Ben Rothwell or he was supposed to fight Dustin Jacoby as a late replacement, those fights never actually ended up coming to be. So does this fight actually happen on fight night? I'm not willing to spend too much time on this because, listen, it's sketchy as fuck. And on the other side of it, you got fucking sketchy as fuck Alonzo Menifield. Yeah. He's got the experience. He's faced the higher level guys. But at the end of the day, this is also someone that we're talking about that lost a decision to William Knight. And I wouldn't be fucking surprised if Mozharov lands a huge shot on Menifield and is able to put him on his ass. Like
100%.
I just wouldn't put it past him. So now 100%. All this overcorrection in the market, it's like now Menifield's -250 and Mozharov +200. I mean, you want to talk about a stupid bet here that could actually be something. Mozharov by KO is it +175 and the money line's +200, folks. Just take the money line right now. What the fuck is going on?
Wait, what is that? Wait, what book has that? That's
DraftKings, because the line has exploded. Right. Because all this stuff coming out. So like Mozharov right now, it's like one of those, just exactly. Here you go. Rogue, thank you. Guys, don't overthink it. Just fade Alonzo, throw a rogue unit on it. Both guys coming on weight. Streaky fighter, and he winning right now.
100%. 100%.
Top bet right now. Yes, thank you. This is just a blind Alonzo Menifield fade.
So you can get him at by KO on FanDuel at +240. And
wow.
There
I'm gonna
wasn't
go
much.
run
There
over and do
wasn't
a little something.
obviously nobody has fucking tape on this guy. That's why his record was updated from 21-8 to fucking 19-12 or whatever the fuck, or 19-14, whatever that bullshit is. But more of my point is that what I did see from his fights, the dude like was knocking these cans out. Like he was, crushing these cans. So for me, if this guy, like you say, you put on a 4-ounce glove and you just swing really fucking hard, PC Strickland, what's up, buddy? You see that guy come in, and you watch Alonzo Menafield. He was doing decent enough against William Knight until like he gets tired with the grappling, and then he eats one punch, and like at the end of that first round, and he's never really the same. So this guy could absolutely take his lunch money. So everybody that's playing Alonzo Menafield, crazy on the money line, or I'm not a big DFS guy, but something tells me people are going to be putting him major in those DFS lineups. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, so I think ultimately, if you were going to play Menafield, funny enough, Mozharov's got like 8 submission losses, and Menafield did have that one over Fabio Charant. So like, if you really wanted Menafield at plus 450 sub, I don't even think there's enough value on that one.
Moving right along. This is a shout out to Clint. This is a pop and popcorn fight. That it's a
Fireball and popcorn. If you're talking about Clint, if you're talking about
if you're talking Chronic Combat, that's a Jameson and Chronic fight.
Yeah. Pack your bowls, grind up another grinder of weed. We got 37-year-old Herrig off of the knee surgeries, 36-year-old Kovalevich off of like 15 consecutive losses. Guys, she's
gonna set the record, I believe. If she loses this fight, Karolina Kowalkiewicz breaks, I believe, the UFC record for most losses in a row. 1, 2.
Damn.
She's got 5. This will be her 6th straight loss.
Yeah, not gonna lie, guys. I put in the stats for this fight. Something's not completely clicking. I must have put the names wrong, but let's be honest. I don't think we really care what the stats say here for this one.
It's interesting though. Do you remember Karolina Kowalkiewicz's last win? It was a split decision in 2018 versus Felice Herring. So this is the rematch that everybody's been clamoring for.
Yeah, man, they finally got it. I mean,
they finally got the job done here.
Yeah. So ultimately,
Felice Herring is on a 3-fight losing streak of her own. She hasn't had a win since Courtney Casey's split decision win in 2017. She came out last fight against Virna Jandiroba after nearly a 2-year layoff, and I'm not sure she was fully healthy in that fight. Got submitted really quickly by Virna, which is not surprising at all. And I think she kind of took that fight because she kind of needed the money, and you need to kind of stay active in the roster, so to speak. And then I think she needed her knee cleaned up again. But I'm telling you, if you follow this girl on social media, she is fucking shredded. She's always been in shape. She is shredded. She completely retransformed her body. Her like when you go, like I wouldn't know because I'm not an athlete and I haven't been through that kind of surgery. But when you go through knee surgery and then you don't work out your fucking leg for 6 months, 9 months, and then you have 2 knee surgeries and it never really got right, like the muscle atrophying there, her legs, you can't tell which one had what. She's yoked. She's a dozen eggs. So I just kind of like her here to be fierce and be ready against Karolina, who just hasn't shown any. I don't even know. Yeah, she hasn't shown any killer instinct. She's not the same person that was, I don't know, beating Rose Namajunas and Jody Esquibel.
All right, I think Guru spent enough time on that one, boys. We're hopping right along. We got our next fight here. We got Joe Salecki versus Alex Da Silva. This is There's one question I have for this fight, and it kind of how you answer it will tell me what I end up playing. Do you think Alex Da Silva can finish Joe Salecki in round 1?
Yeah, probably not.
No. Okay, so Joe Salecki wins by decision or by late finish. There you go. That's my handicap.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I guess you're right, because when you look at Alex Da Silva, his wins come early. They've all come early. Most of them by rear naked choke. I don't know. What I've seen from Joe Salecki in the grappling department is that he doesn't make too many mistakes and he's pretty dang good. what I've seen Joe Salecki in the MMA department is what really gives me pause in this fight. He's got sketchy cardio,
Yeah.
doesn't really push the pace. You look at that Jared Gordon fight. I mean, he won the first 7 minutes and then dropped the last 8. I mean, about as clear cut as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
And that's shit. So
So I think
so you
specifically there, though, you're looking at facing a veteran that actually has a cardio bank to draw from. I
I
think you're
just
facing the exact opposite in this case.
I'm not. I mean, I just don't. I'm just not sure. Alex Da Silva is high pace. He puts on a pace that Joe Salecki just hasn't seen. Jared Gordon is like, I love Jared as a person, but super middling fighter. Jim Miller, old as pie, man. Like he's trying to
Right,
just
but
he's lingering his way to UFC 300, and then you look at his win over what Austin Hubbard and Matt Wyman. Like there's not much for me to draw on super positively there. I kind of like the dog side in Alex Da Silva. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit for that Riddell fight, but he wins the first round versus Riddell, grappling him and piecing him up on a feet. And then in that second round, he's doing well for those
gas,
first two.
gas, 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 gas,
But
gas,
listen,
gas,
so
gas.
what happens is he's still going for he goes for the takedown to open up that second round and he doesn't get it. So now when you're not getting the takedown, what happens? Riddell's holding you up, you're in the clinch, and now Riddell, the insane fucking kickboxer, is teeing the fuck off on you. And the dude's super tough. I mean, he takes a knuckle to the eye and he kind of gets it rubbed off as a eye poke and is able to continue. Probably would have been a KO win for Riddell if that was called properly. However, man, the kid's super duper tough in terms of still hanging in there after that. His eye is like completely swollen shut. And who's better? Jared, too much MMA math probably, but who's better, Jared Gordon or Brad Riddell? I don't think I'm on an island if I say Brad Riddell is the better fighter there. So yeah, I do. I do lean Alex Da Silva, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
what about Alexander
Are,
Yakovlev with the
yeah,
round 2 submission win over Alex
submission.
Da Silva? I mean,
That's poor.
and then his
Poor.
one decision victory in his career is over the absolutely miserable Rodrigo Vargas.
Yeah,
I mean, I just don't see like
you're right.
listen,
You're probably not
Salecki,
gonna.
I really don't like his all-around game. I hate
Yeah,
it. And he's very boring to watch. But if Alex Da Silva doesn't finish you early, Joe Salecki, he probably has the better grappling as the fight goes on. I
yeah.
don't think that Da
Fuck, you're
Silva
right.
is Jared Gordon. He's got one career decision win, and it's over Kazula Vargas in the UFC. So
Yeah,
tell me,
you're right.
if you want to play him, just do Da Silva inside the distance at plus 350, Guru. Have fun with that. But like, fuck
No,
that. If
yeah.
anything, it's probably just and I would say if you want to fade a narrative here, somehow Salecki decision now plus 180 because we've gotten used to him being boring in the UFC. I mean, he couldn't even fucking submit Matt Wyman. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about how bad Da Silva's gas tank is, could you imagine Salecki with that little submission at plus 275? Sure, but I mean, how many submission props are we going to play? Fuck this fight. I'm not touching it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Apologies, guys. We got 14. There's no need to touch every fight here.
you're right. You're totally right. So
Next one. Here we go.
yeah, definitely.
Damon Jackson and Dan Argetta. This
Well,
this
I mean,
one came
oh
together
yeah, yeah.
last second
Oh,
here.
okay. Dude, I don't know. I just had such a brain fart. I knew we played a sub prop, and you were like skipping over it so fast. I'm like, wait, didn't we play Da Silva by sub? No, it
Nah,
was
no, no,
not. It was
no. You
somebody
need to
way, way
chill.
better.
You need to
Sorry, I'm
chill. We're
sorry.
getting
I'm
there, all
sorry. I'm
right?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What we
Excuse me,
are
sorry.
also getting to is that Damon Jackson is now minus 650 versus Dan Argetta at plus 460.
No way, dude.
I get it because when you look at like the general, like what are we looking for on like a short notice? Okay, guy takes the fight within like a week, moving up a weight class, facing a veteran. You know, this is one of those spots where it's like you got to fade him, you got to fade the guy making his debut. But we've already gotten to the point where Jackson went from like a minus 2 something, and now we're at minus 650. Guys, we missed this one. Okay, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, it's far too wide, but at the same time, do you expect a guy that's like a pure wrestler like Argetta to come in and really put on a pace on Jackson of all people?
The
Damn,
only way
that's where I draw the
so
line in this
the
thing.
only way he puts on a pace is if he survives the first 7 minutes and Jackson's tired and
But Jackson is the one that has the sick cardio. So that's not like
right.
there
No,
is
it's
no
not gonna happen.
outlasting
No.
Jackson. The question
Okay.
is, can Jackson outlast Argetta? And yes,
Yes,
he
yes.
probably can. because he's
Not,
going to be the much bigger guy here, and he's actually
dude,
got a full camp.
not for nothing. I just watched Argetta's LFA 131 fight where he wins the title, and it's a split decision win versus Diego Silva. And wow, oh wow, is that not only a troubling and not inspiring fight, but it is damn close. And I don't know how confident you could be that that he's the rightful champion and it's not Diego Silva. Like that, it was so freaking close, man. Um, so when you're going toe to toe with Diego Silva, and mind you, less than a month ago, so it's 3 weeks ago, and now you're cutting weight again. I'm like, I stubbed my toe last week. It still hurts. Like this guy's definitely got some bruises and cuts going on. Like he really wants to be in the UFC at 28 years old. So
Yeah.
this was his chance to do it. I do think Jamin Jackson probably gets it done, but like I said, we've said things like are untouchable, but like this is beyond untouchable at minus 600.
Damon Jackson round 3 plus 800.
Cool.
If you think he washes him out and gets that late finish, like like Jackson likes to do, but that's the only thing that I would be willing
What's
to
Jackson
even
round 3 in decision?
plus 140. I feel
Yeah,
like
I like
I
that
don't.
too.
Yeah, that is also a solid idea. Over 1.5, Damon Jackson is also if minus 115. So
I like plus money.
yeah,
Give me
yeah.
that plus money.
Guru is all about that plus money.
But I'm really not all about betting this fight, so
That is also true. So we're gonna move right along here, as we love to do. We got Nicolas Dulce versus Benoit Saint Denis. This is one of those like clash of styles fights. You got Stolze, who loves being the kickboxer out there, who also got knocked the fuck out on the feet in his last fight.
yes, he did.
Versus Benoit Saint Denis, who loves getting into that
Jiu-jitsu
wrestling
expert.
and grappling, and probably should have been knocked the fuck out in his last fight.
Oh yeah,
Depending on the referee, and it just so turned out that we got the one that was gonna let that shit just go on.
we got Mario Yamasaki incarnate fucking
Yeah,
refereeing.
sheesh. But yeah. So Stolze versus Benoit Saint Denis. Yeah, I mean this one. I I think if anything in these types of fights, smaller cage, kickboxer that I don't think is that impressive of a kickboxer overall and is, shown to be kind of controlled in the past, 45%
He
control
got
rate.
right crossed by Night Train, bro.
Yeah. Benoit Saint Denis, I feel like he's going to be able to put on a little bit of a grappling show here if he so chooses. It's possible that Stolze can kind of catch him on the feet, but I see Saint Denis as the minus 155, Stolze plus 135. That's a pretty fair line. Saint Denis by sub plus 250. That's a pretty fair line. Decision plus 250. That's probably more so where it happens. I just don't think either of these guys are so high level where they are going to overwhelm the other in their like area of expertise. But I do think that Saint Denis should have a little bit of an easier time, setting his pace.
Yeah, I have a specific play for this fight, and
Ooh.
it's one of our favorite things, and I want to fade the narrative here, guys.
Uh-oh.
I want to bet this fight to go the distance.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
So
think
what
I
do you got
do.
there?
So what I see is that Stolze, like you just said, the kickboxer, going to be looking for knockouts, essentially, whatever. That's the way that he generally wins. What did we see from Benoit Saint Denis? Benoit Saint Denis. He's fucking tough as nails, bro. He's basically KO'd dead, and fucking he's still putting smacks on Zaleski dos Santos. Like,
Yeah.
literally, he's special forces in France. Like, you have to fucking kill this guy. And then you look at the
It's
other way
true.
around, how Benoit Saint Denis wants to win. He's a jiu-jitsu expert. Like, he wants to go for
Hmm.
takedowns and get the submission. That's what he wants. But
Hmm.
Stolze himself is a very well accredited black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, he's not a schlub on the ground at all. Like, is it where he wants to be per se? No, but he's well versed. So if neither of these guys get to finish, if neither of these guys, this is really revolutionary stuff, guys. If neither guy gets the finish, it's going to decision. So I like the fight to go the distance. So you know what I mean? Because I just don't. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that, and it's plus money too. So I like not a small amount.
Yeah, I really like that, Guru. That's it's a solid little play that you got going on there.
Yeah, fight to go the distance is that's what I'm saying. So will the fight go the distance on DraftKings is plus 120, but on FanDuel it's plus 154. So plus 154, will the fight go the distance? Yes. That's where I'm at on this fight.
All right.
But
All
but
right. I
but
like that.
listen, am I betting my house on it? No, because this is super low level MMA, and we just watched Dulce get flatlined in a second. Oh
Wow.
no,
Warrior.
the what
Uh-oh.
Warriors? Yeah, but you've seen it's all season long. How many memes have I seen with the Warriors? They're like down 99-59, and then 7 minutes later they win 112 to 103. It's like they always kill it.
Yo, guys, maybe throw yourself down a little live bet on the finals here. Get that Warriors live money plus money. We'll see. That might be a little
Very true.
something for you. But here we go. So let's get down into it. We got our last we're getting into our last few fights here, it seems, but we still got a little ways to go. So our next one here, we got Johnny Munoz versus you know Tony Gravely. This is gonna be
The
a
gravel
pretty
man.
close fight. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones. They actually got it listed pretty close as I struggle here typing names. Um, on the line right now, we
Yeah,
got
minus
Munoz's.
154 on Gravely and plus 120 on Munoz.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this fight, it seems like keeps kind of going back and forth as far as the money line goes, and I understand it. I feel like if you're talking about the minute winner, it's going to be Tony Gravely. He
Yeah,
should have a little bit more volume in the stand up. Actually, a lot more volume in the stand up.
yeah.
But also, that comes back with his opponents also bringing a high volume. So it's not like he's supremely outpacing his opponents as far as
He's
volume
got the
goes, but it's
power.
just he
He's got the
lands it.
power advantage. He has the big thing that
Yeah,
I see with Gravely is that he's gonna have the power advantage. He throws a
yeah.
lot into his strikes because he knows that he's
Hmm.
comfortable getting into the grappling exchanges. The problem is though, is that he likes to wrestle and Johnny Munoz loves to
Loves to
submit
wrestle.
people.
Right.
He
So
loves to
this
submit
is
people.
kind of where we're at. So like Mac, Gravely to win by holding.
That's
Yes.
it. That would be
That is
how he wins.
that. So if you're gonna say Gravely by decision plus 250, totally
That's a big ticket.
understand. What I also see is that every single fucking Tony Gravely fight, when he shoots one of those 7 takedowns that he lands per 15 minutes, his neck is in for a guillotine every single time. Every single Here's Guru holding it up
I sent this to
every
him during a scouting.
single time.
This is 20 seconds into his fight
Oliveira.
Salmon Oliveira.
Yeah.
That's salmon deep on a fucking on a fucking guillotine,
Yeah.
man. Like
Munoz is one of those
if you give that to
IBJFF
Munoz,
guys.
you're done. You give that. He's
Yeah.
a multi-time champion BJJF world champion jiu-jitsu player. Like you give that to him, you're done. You're not getting it back.
Yeah.
Like
So,
so we've wanted Gravely to we kind of thought Gravely would do the lay and pray against our guy Nate Maness. He was laying on top of Nate, pulverizing him. If that fight maybe had another 20-30 seconds in that first round, it's very possible that he maybe KOs Nate there, but Nate gets up, fire in his fucking belly, starts stuffing takedowns, sprawling for his life, and starts pounding the shit out of him with clinch strikes. And Gravely's exhausted, shows really not much left. And by the middle of that second round, Nate puts him down and puts him down good. So shout out our boy there. I don't know. I just don't know what like we're saying, you're gonna have to KO this guy Munoz early, or you're gonna have to hold on to him for dear life. And the dude's fucking tough as nails. His one loss is also to Nate Maness, which is super
yeah.
interesting. So when you see stuff like that, like it's very. I had some notes on that
Yeah.
too. The Nate Maness
So
fight.
basically, like Munoz, what I think he's going to be able to do here is that guys that are able to make Gravely work a little bit rather than just going for their submission attempts defensively, but able to make him work and kind of fight some reversals and stuff like that. I think that's something that Munoz
Show
should
some
be able to
resistance.
do. So Miles Johns gets that round 3 sub. Ricky Bandejas gets that round 2 sub. Manny Bermudez gets a sub. Patchy Mix gets a sub. Pat Sabatini gets a sub. Like you see all these high level grapplers that are
Ricky
able to get
Bandejas
subs
gets a
on
sub.
Gravely.
Pat
And
Sabatini,
yeah,
he's fought everybody.
yeah, that I just ran down the list, my dude. It's
Yeah.
it Munoz, he fits into that level of grappler and guy that isn't just going to let Gravely do what he needs to. So hey, what did we lay? A little half a unit on Johnny Munoz Jr. by submission at plus 250. How you
Yeah,
doing?
that was the sub I had confused with the other guy. But no, I really like that because I just think it's super likely Gravely's somebody that just kind of loves to shit the bed. He's just not an opportunity capitalizer, at least from what we've seen.
Yeah. So that's gonna bring us on to our next fight here, and this one, seeing
Well
a lot
talked
of
about this week.
diatribe back and forth here. Um, man, Jeff Jefe Molina, friend of the gambling community. What a guy. Also, he seems to like really be going out there representing the Pride community too for this month. He's super excited about wearing it on his clothes, getting a lot of shit. But like, I respect a dude like that leans into it, and like, it just seems like an overall good guy. And Jaga Zhumagulov, he's a veteran of the game. Someone that's going to come forward and put a pressure and a pace on you. He might not be the biggest. He is a little undersized, even at 125, but the dude's tough as fuck. And you see him going there against Manel Kopp, and like, yo, he lands this early 1-2 on Manel Kopp, and man, I mean, he just fucking he lands early on him, and he's putting a little pressure, and Kopp, finally settles in a little bit. And then once he starts to unload a bit and land his power, Zhumagulov unable to really overcome that. But you see the guys that he's faced in the UFC: Manel Kopp, Amir Albazi, Haulian Paiva. I mean, these are legitimate names that Zhumagulov has lost to. Um, and yeah, that Kopp knockout wasn't pretty, but it was an accumulative knockout. It wasn't a one punch type of deal. And to have someone kind of unload a 20 punch combo on you on the fence. I
That was
get it.
so hot.
Kopp
That
is
was
one
one of
of
my
those special
favorites.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kopp is like a top 5 talent. The problem is Zhumagulov is like a top 25 talent. And Jeff Molina moving up here in the ranks. He's one of those guys where I really like his cardio, and I like his ability to kind of work through some stuff, and his striking has seemed to get a little bit better. But I just don't see anything that he does at like an elite level in that regard. And I just think that Zhumagulov is going to be able to work like a volume, either a volume wrestling pace, or he'll be able to work his boxing a bit and get that movement going. I don't think he's going to fade like some of Molina's prior opponents. Richie Long has been known to fade in the past, and we've also seen even like we talked about, Daniel Lacerda da Silva has also been a guy that we've seen gas out multiple times as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that Molina has been able to lean on that gas tank in the past. I don't think that that's going to get him the win solely here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little shot on Jalgas at plus 160, where Molina's at minus 190. I think there's a little bit of value there on the underdog.
I would say with the where the line has started to trickle, I could certainly understand why you'd want to bet the dog here, laying minus 200 on Jeff Molina when you could have got him at like whatever minus 150, minus 160. Not as appealing. However, I'm certainly on the Jeff Molina side here. Everything about Zaglas and Magulov has shown me that he is depreciating goods. He is a commodity that is losing its value. He's getting older quickly, right? 33. We may not say that's old for this division. That's fucking ancient.
So,
And
Guru, I just have a quick question. Are you basing this off of Manel Kopp saying that he looked older on tape?
listen, I like what Manel Kopp had to say, but I also agree with what he said. He looks slower. His one win so far in the UFC is against Jerome Rivera, who's not UFC caliber. So he loses badly to Manel Kopp. He doesn't get the job done versus Albazi or Paiva. And then before that, what was he doing in Fight Nights Global? Split decision win versus Bogota, versus Bagnatov, for a majority decision win versus Ulanbekov, a unanimous decision win over Tyson Nam. Like, there's nothing there that's like super impressive. He's outpointing guys to decisions, and I don't know that he's outpointing Jeff Molina, who's younger, faster, bigger, longer, and has better pace, and has shown animalistic cardio. Like,
His
like
takedown defense is duty, though.
that's the obvious part. That's where, thank you for bringing that up. If you're Zaglas and Magulov, if you're his corner, You're tying on your Kamaru Usman shoes, bro. You're gonna go wrestle your fucking ass off because it's not only Jeff Molina that has the problem. I saw somebody posted on Twitter, and it was something I'd been thinking about for a while. Glory MMA, they have no fucking takedown defense. It's the whole camp. It's a epidemic in that fucking camp. But
Yeah.
through his fucking 4 fights, he's a 1.25 takedown. It's not enough. It's not enough. So I am not betting on the 33-year-old to be the old dog showing me new tricks with volume wrestling. More often than not, the
Yeah,
bigger guy,
but
the
I mean,
younger guy wins.
he shot 14 takedowns in 4 fights. So that's more than 3 takedown attempts per fight. So you got to figure he's getting Molina down twice in this fight. If he gets Molina down twice, he probably wins 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think it can be. The problem is though, is like what's he going to be doing with that top control? He's going to be raining down strikes, or is that where he holds
Good
him for
question.
2 minutes, doesn't really score anything, and then when they're standing on the feet, all the impactful strikes and all the volume are going to be on Jeff Molina.
Mhm.
Bro, I literally there'd be no reason that I would not be going to UFC Long Island, but I'm going to be in Chicago watching the Cubbies play the Mets. And I'm super excited about that. Never been to Chicago. I would be dragging TB. We would 1,000% be there. He probably would be. We'd be going like there'd be no
Oh, well, you
reason.
know what? Now, TB, a little new career path here. Your boy's going to be working Monday through Friday, so maybe he's going to sneak off without Guru to that one, huh?
Yeah,
Get
dude,
a
if you
little
end up
FOMO. He's going to cancel his Chicago plans.
no. And listen, the other weird thing about that card though, it's an ABC card, so you're gonna be watching like midday. It's not a night card.
Oh,
So
word. That's right. That's
that was
right.
why back in the day I didn't go to Robbie Lawler and Colby Covington at the Prudential Center because it was like a 2 p.m. main card. I'm like, the fuck? I gotta wake up and start at 7 a.m. to head for fights. I'm good. But yeah, that Long Island card looks fucking sick. Love Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez. That's an unbelievable fight, and they just keep booking shit for that. I have family out in Long Island. I would have loved to have gone out there, but I unfortunately will not be making it. I'm
Well,
hoping
hey,
they
we
make
got
it
a
back to
couple more.
MSG or something.
Hell yeah. We got a couple more fights to break down here.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Last
we do.
2. The first 2 to kick off our night, we got Renat Fakhretdinov and Andreas Michailidis.
Fakhretdinov.
Yeah.
Fakhretdinov. I'm practicing his Renat Fakhretdinov. That's a good one. That's an awesome name. I wonder if Renat. I wonder if Renat is like a super casual name like Ronald or something in his culture. You always wonder that, right? Maybe just me. Anybody else ever wonder that?
So what I'm wondering is minus 265, Michailidis at plus 215. Michailidis was a guy that everyone was kind of running to play against Alex Pereira. How did that work out for you, flying knee?
Yeah.
But I think ultimately what people thought was like, oh, like he uses his wrestling. He's a solid striker, but he uses his wrestling. It's like, well, does that help you against Renat Fakhretdinov here? Probably not. And Michailidis, one other thing that we love talking about, and we've talked about many times about other people, Michailidis has 0 gas tanks. So, like, if you expect this guy to try wrestling, he's probably not getting a finish. And even if he fights on his feet from distance, he's probably getting gassed out. So, Fakhretdinov at minus 265, that seems pretty fair to me. I don't know whether he's going to land one of those clubbing KOs or, I could see him kind of riding out to a decision, but yeah, I see him just kind of getting the win here. So I'll be trying to find like a little way that I could play him in with something here.
I had texted TB when I was watching the tape. I was extremely impressed by his tape. He actually trains out of American Top Team at the moment. He does like to stand straight up as well and in front of his opponents, but that's not really necessarily going to be an issue here because he strikes me as the combat sambo guy. Like he's so well versed in the wrestling in all those areas. He's boxing heavy. Like he will throw the boxing combination. He likes to take his time with the counter left hook to keep and test the range. He does have kind of like a wild looping overhand. So his striking is not necessarily where he shines or is the most technical, but he's very comfortable going for the takedown. He's good at it. He's got good timing. He's got good short elbows from top position, inside leg kicks. Again, the big thing is that he's not a technical striker. And I truly believe that all of his offense is to set up his ground game. So I think he's going to be dangerous wherever, because Michailidis, right? If we're just going to say that this is a grappler versus grappler real quick and the grappling negates, this guy is going to fuck him up on the feet. And that's why you see the line where it is.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I totally agree, man. So
Super cool.
Keep an eye out. We'll probably have some sort of parlay.
Super cool though. It's the Spartan versus the Gladiator. I thought that was interesting.
That is actually really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
A battle of the not medieval, but our historical warriors. Yeah.
Yes, the Romans. And
so now our actually one of our most interesting card openers that we've had in a bit time here. I mean, Aaron Blanchfield versus JJ Aldrich in the women's MMA divisions, to have a fight of like this kind of importance kicking off the card. This is actually pretty sick. Blanchfield, one of those big top prospects. She's shown some big time wrestling credentials in the UFC so far.
Beating Maverick
so JJ
is the
Aldrich,
big one, right?
Yeah, for sure. And now
that's the one that puts you on the
JJ
map.
Aldrich. This is it. Yeah. Okay. So you look back at like on the regional scene, she has her one losses to Tracy Cortez. You go back and you watch that fight. I'm not so sure that she actually lost that fight.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah, no, I'm serious though, because she seemed to have a lot more of like the threatening positions and actually going for stuff. Whereas Cortez is a little bit more just control based and like holding on. Blanchfield, cold-blooded, the nickname definitely makes sense. JJ Aldrich, she's lost by knockout, she's lost by submission, she's lost by decision. She's been controlled in the past with a 9% opponent control rate. It's not something that's happened in every single one of her fights, but she's been taken down 7 times out of 25 total attempts. 72% for someone that's shot 11 takedowns and landed 10 so far in Aaron Blanchfield. There seems to definitely be a path to victory. I mean, was it not JJ Aldrich that was getting wasn't Courtney Casey kind of controlling her a little bit off some takedowns? Or was that Aldrich landing the takedowns and Casey was landing the striking? But I think that Aaron Blanchfield here has a distinct advantage when it comes to an offensive wrestling pace, using chain wrestling and getting into positions on the mat that lead to control and dangerous positions for her opponents. We saw Miranda Maverick able to kind of outlast. We saw Sarah Alpar with her wrestling background able to kind of outlast. And, same idea. Kay Hansen, majority decision, someone with a bit of a grappling background. JJ Aldrich, she has been building up her jiu-jitsu. She's got that brown belt. She's got the taekwondo. She's a solid boxer. She knows how to use her range. She's going to have a little bit of a size advantage in this fight, just a little bit. But Blanchfield, I just think this comes down to her just being so much better in that one area. And listen, the narrative here, Blanchfield by decision minus 65. Your boy TB is going to go ahead and fade that. And we're going to say Aaron Blanchfield inside the distance plus 250 for someone that you're getting at minus 490 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Blanchfield, she had Maverick in such compromising positions, but Maverick is so tough. Aldrich, I could just see her not being able to escape certain type of holds.
Yeah, and when you start off those, I always think about that. Like when you start off those cards super early, and it's a small cage, and it's the first fight. Like sometimes those fights just all of a sudden, and they're over, like in the first round, and you don't really expect it. You look at her last few fights there. She literally in her last 11 fights, for JJ, 10 of them have went the distance. The only loss by finish is to Macy Barber from the knee punches KO stoppage there. So, I mean, I could maybe see that kind of finish where she just kind of beats her down, but not necessarily something that I'm looking to. I would go to grandma's couch cushion for this one. I'm not trying to dip into my own reserves.
Yeah,
personally. It's an interesting fight. It's a good one. It's actually one of the, probably like you were saying, so apropos, is probably one of the more important fights in terms of ranking in basically a card. Let's just be honest, it's a filler card. It's a throwaway card. They're just putting out content. And hey, I'm eating all the content, but this is a content card.
Yeah, for sure. So that brings us to the end of it, folks. Welcome back to Chronic Combat after a well-deserved week off. Little fun trip I had getting back here. So we're a day late getting back to our picks, but guys, definitely not a dollar short because we gave you some good picks today. And we're to like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and Guru. I mean, take us away, man.
Yeah, listen, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you listeners. Like, it really does mean a lot. You come into the live chat, you talk us up on Twitter. It really does mean a lot. So, guys, if you're following, if you're listening, please go follow us. You can follow me at Guru Scouting MMA on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. And you can follow my awesome co-host TB Scouting MMA on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. Make sure you're following us, our Bet MMA plays. I'm sure we might have a couple more drop. And honestly, we like especially the pay-per-views, like if you think a card like this is the lines are sharp, or you think that the public is like betting the lines early, what do you guys think happens on these pay-per-views? They get way, way, way more exposure. Yeah, man, that was awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Mac. But seriously, these pay-per-view cards get way, way more exposure. So the lines change even quicker. It just means we got to be on top of it even more. So just tune in
Oh yeah,
and make sure you stay plugged in. And take care,
oh,
obviously.
yeah. Take care, everybody.